The courtroom camera caught the exact moment Karen Black's smug confidence shattered completely. She had just called the key witness a liar to their face, rolled her eyes at Judge Judy, and waved her hand dismissively as if the case was already over. What happened next would become one of the most devastating phone evidence reveals in courtroom history. Shared more than 40 million times across every social media platform known when she called that witness a liar was that their phone had been recording everything, every text message, every voicemail, every GPS location, timestamp. Judge Judy was about to make her listen to her own voice, dismantling her entire case, one devastating word at a time. Karen Black strode into Judge Judy's courtroom like she owned the place. Her designer sunglasses were pushed up on her blonde, highlighted hair, perfectly styled for what she believed would be her television debut as the wronged businesswoman. She clutched her leather portfolio like a weapon, filled with printed documents she thought would intimidate everyone in the room. This was the kind of woman who recorded customer service calls just to get minimum wage workers fired, who demanded to speak to managers at every inconvenience, and who believed her confidence was the same as being right. At 42 years old, she had spent her entire adult life using volume and aggression to win arguments, and she saw no reason why Judge Judy's courtroom would be any different. She had no idea she was about to face something that couldn't be intimidated, couldn't be gaslit, and couldn't be manipulated. Technology doesn't care about confidence, and the truth stored in a smartphone is absolutely merciless. Before revealing the moment Karen's lies unraveled in real time, smash that like button, because what you're about to witness will restore your faith that truth always wins. Hit subscribe, because in the next 15 minutes, you'll see why you should never call a witness a liar when they have receipts. This isn't just a courtroom case. This is a masterclass in why technology is the ultimate truth teller. The story behind this explosive courtroom moment began 18 months earlier, when Karen and Jennifer Hayes formed a business partnership that looked perfect on paper. Jennifer, a hardworking single mother of two, had saved $30,000 to invest in what she believed would be her path to financial security. Karen, presenting herself as a successful entrepreneur with connections and experience, convinced Jennifer that together they could build something incredible. What Jennifer didn't know was that Karen had a long history of using people, draining them dry, and moving on to the next victim. Within 3 months of their partnership, Jennifer noticed money disappearing from their business account. When she questioned Karen about unauthorized withdrawals, the gaslighting began immediately. Karen told Jennifer she was paranoid, that she didn't understand business expenses, and that her questions proved how unsophisticated she really was. But Jenner did something that would prove absolutely brilliant. She started documenting everything. Every text message Karen sent was screenshotted and backed up to the cloud. Every voicemail Karen left was saved and organized by date. Every threatening conversation, every condescending remark, and every admission of taking money was preserved in flawless digital detail. Jennifer worked 2 jobs, one as a hospital cafeteria worker and another in weekend retail, just to keep her family afloat, while Karen systematically destroyed their business and pocketed the money. Jennifer's children were bullied at school after Karen posted on social media claiming Jennifer was an incompetent partner who was ruining everything. Jennifer's reputation in their small community was torn apart because Karen told anyone who would listen that Jennifer was unstable, a liar, and probably stealing from the business. The truth was the complete opposite. But Karen's confidence made people believe her version of reality. That's how gaslighting works. The person with the loudest voice and most aggressive delivery often wins, even when they're completely wrong. But Jennifer held on to one crucial advantage. She had evidence, real evidence that couldn't be explained away or dismissed. When Karen finally dissolved the partnership and then sued Jennifer for $30,000, Claiming Jennifer had stolen from the business, Jennifer knew it was time to fight back. She filed a counterclaim accusing Karen of embezzlement, harassment, and fraud. Karen laughed when she received the counterclaim papers. She even posted on Facebook about how some people can't accept responsibility for their own failures and have to blame others. She told her friends that going on Judge Judy would be easy publicity and that she might even get discovered for other TV opportunities. She spent the morning before court checking her makeup and practicing her victim expression in the mirror. She walked into the courtroom believing she was about to give the performance of a lifetime, never suspecting she was actually walking into an ambush orchestrated by someone she had spent 18 months underestimating. Judge Judy had seen Karen's type thousands of times over her 25-year career, the overly confident litigant who thinks volume equals truth, who believes an aggressive personality will intimidate everyone into submission, and who has bullied others for so long they can't imagine facing real consequences. But Judge Judy had already reviewed Jennifer's phone evidence during pre-trial preparation, and she knew exactly what was coming. She had read the text messages where Karen admitted to taking money. She had listened to the voicemails in which Karen threatened to destroy Jennifer's reputation. She had examined the GPS data exposing Karen's lies about business trips. Judge Judy knew Karen was about to experience the most humiliating 8 minutes of her life, and she was ready to orchestrate every devastating second. The Judge Judy courtroom buzzed with its usual electric energy that Tuesday morning. Cameras were rolling, capturing what everyone assumed would be another routine small claims dispute for millions of viewers at home. The audience settled into their seats. Production assistants completed final checks on lighting and sound, and the bailiff stood ready to maintain order. No one in that room except Judge Judy herself had any idea they were about to witness television history in the making. This was supposed to be a straightforward business partnership dispute, the kind of case the show handled dozens of times each season. Karen sat at the defendant's table, looking perfectly composed, occasionally glancing at the cameras with what she believed was her best, serious, professional expression. Jennifer sat at the plaintiff's table, gripping her phone so tightly her knuckles turned white, her hands trembling slightly as she waited for her chance to speak. Her boyfriend sat in the gallery for moral support, silently hoping Judge Judy would give Jennifer the opportunity to present everything she had documented. Karen's opening statement was a masterclass in false victimhood and calculated manipulation. She stood with perfect posture, smoothed her expensive blazer, and addressed Judge Judy with a tone of feigned respect that barely hid her condescension. "Your Honor, this woman sitting over there claiming to be a victim is actually a thief and a liar," she began, her voice dripping with the practiced sincerity of someone who had repeated the lie so many times she nearly believed it herself. "I am a successful businesswoman who made the mistake of trying to help someone less fortunate than myself. I brought Jennifer Hayes into this partnership because felt sorry for her situation as a single mother struggling to make ends meet. I provided the business expertise, the connections, the strategy, everything that actually mattered. All she had to do was show up and handle basic tasks. But she couldn't even manage that level of responsibility." Karen paused for dramatic effect, looking directly at the camera as if she were recruiting the viewing audience to her side. "When money started disappearing from our business account, I confronted her about it. She became defensive, emotional, unstable. She began making wild accusations against me to distract from her own theft. Your Honor, I am here today seeking justice for the $30,000 Jennifer Hayes stole from our business partnership. The performance was polished, rehearsed, and completely false. But Karen had been getting away with this kind of manipulation her entire adult life, and she had no reason to believe this day would be any different. Judge Judy listened to the entire opening statement with the calm patience of a predator studying its prey. Her expression revealed nothing, but her eyes missed nothing. She noticed how Karen looked at the cameras more often than at her. She noted the carefully chosen language meant to paint Jennifer as incompetent and emotional. She observed the total absence of specific dates, transactions, or concrete evidence. Most importantly, she noticed how Karen kept glancing at Jennifer with barely concealed contempt, as if daring her to challenge the narrative. That contempt would become Karen's fatal mistake, making her sloppy, overconfident, and blind to the trap closing around her. When it was Jennifer's turn to speak, the contrast couldn't have been more dramatic. She stood slowly, still holding her phone like a lifeline. Her voice was quiet but steady, carrying the calm that comes from knowing you're telling the absolute truth. Your Honor, everything she just said is a lie and I can prove it. Every single word. Jennifer raised her phone so Judge Judy could see it. Your Honor, I have 8 months of text messages between Karen and me. I have 47 voicemails she left me. I have email chains showing exactly where the money went. I have GPS data from my phone showing where Karen actually was when she claimed to be at business meetings. I have banking app screenshots with timestamps. I have social media posts that contradict everything she just told you. She continued, Your Honor, I documented everything because I knew nobody would believe me over her. She's confident. She's well-spoken. She presents well. I'm just a cafeteria worker who made the mistake of trusting the wrong person. But my phone doesn't lie. Technology doesn't lie. And I'm ready to show you everything. The atmosphere in the courtroom shifted instantly. Judge Judy leaned forward slightly, a small smile forming at the corners of her mouth. The kind regular viewers knew meant someone was about to be destroyed. Karen's confidence wavered for a split second. A brief flash of concern crossing her face before she recovered and forced that smirk back on. She actually laughed. A short, dismissive sound that echoed through the suddenly silent courtroom. Your Honor, she interrupted, irritation sharpening her voice. I need to stop this right now before it goes any further. She is lying to your face. Those text messages she's talking about don't exist. Or if they do, they're edited, doctored, manipulated. You can fake anything on a phone these days. With all due respect, Your Honor, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. She doesn't have any real evidence because there is no evidence. She made all of this up. Karen turned toward Jennifer, pointing her finger with theatrical aggression. You are a liar, Jennifer Hayes. You're lying to Judge Judy. You're lying to this courtroom. And you're lying to everyone watching at home. The words hung in the air like a death sentence Karen had just pronounced on herself. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears, not out of fear, but because this was the moment she had dreaded for 18 months. The moment her abuser would stand in front of everyone and call her a liar with such confidence that people might actually believe it. But this time was different. This time, Jennifer had something Karen never expected anyone to have. She had receipts, digital, time-stamped, GPS-verified, cloud-backed receipts. And Judge Judy was about to make Karen face every single one of her lies. Judge, quoi? Judy let the silence linger in the courtroom for 3 full seconds. Long enough for Karen's accusation to settle in with the audience and for everyone to grasp the gravity of what had just happened. Then she leaned forward with the expression that had unsettled attorneys for decades, her voice carrying the cold precision of a scalpel cutting through deception. Ms. Black, I'm going to give you one opportunity right now. First, think very carefully before you continue down this path. If Ms. Hayes has evidence that contradicts what you're saying, calling her a liar in my courtroom will not end well for you. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The warning was clear, direct, and offered Karen a lifeline that any reasonable person would have grabbed with both hands. But Karen wasn't reasonable. She was arrogant. She actually laughed a short, dismissive sound that would be replayed millions of times across social media in the days to come. Your Honor, with all due respect, I'm not worried about whatever fake evidence she thinks she has. Let her show it. The truth is on my side. She waved her hand dismissively at Jennifer. That familiar gesture of contempt bullies use when they believe they've already won. Karen even turned slightly and smiled at the camera, completely unaware that she had just sealed her own fate in the most spectacular way possible. Judge Judy's expression turned colder than a winter morning in Alaska. Very well, Ms. Black. Ms. Hayes, please connect your phone to our courtroom display system. Let's see this fake evidence. A courtroom technician approached Jennifer with the connection cables, and the large monitor behind Judge Judy flickered to life. Jennifer's hands were shaking so badly it took her 2 attempts to plug in the cable. But once her phone screen appeared on the massive display, visible to everyone in the courtroom and everyone watching at home, Karen's smile began to falter. At first, it was barely noticeable, but the cracks in her confidence were already forming. Judge Judy's voice sliced through the tension. Ms. Hayes, please open your text message thread with Ms. Black. Jennifer's fingers moved across the screen, and suddenly the monitor filled with months of text message conversations. Every exchange between Karen and Jennifer was preserved in digital perfection, time-stamped and impossible to deny. The first message Judge Judy asked Jennifer to read aloud was sent 3 months before the lawsuit was filed. Karen had written, "Listen, Jennifer. I'm taking $5,000 from the business account for marketing expenses. Don't argue with me about it." The message sat there in black and white, Karen's name at the top, the date and time clearly visible. There was no room for misunderstanding or misinterpretation. Karen's face flushed slightly. "That's out of context, Your Honor. That was a legitimate business expense." But Judge Judy wasn't finished. She instructed Jennifer to scroll to the next message, sent just 2 hours later. "If you question my decisions again, I'll make sure everyone knows you're incompetent. I have connections, Jennifer. I can destroy your reputation in this town. Don't test me." The courtroom fell completely silent, broken only by an audible gasp from the audience. Karen sat up straighter in her chair, her designer blazer suddenly looking less like armor and more like a costume. "Your Honor, I was under stress. I didn't mean those things the way they sound." Judge Judy's response was merciless. "They sound exactly like threats, Ms. Black. Keep scrolling, Ms. Hayes." The messages kept coming, each one worse than the last. "I don't care if clients are complaining. Tell them to deal with me or leave. You're just the worker. I'm the brains of this operation." Then another. "I took another $3,000 today. Consider it payment for my expertise. You should be grateful I'm even letting you be part of this business." And another. "Stop crying about money. If you can't afford to live, maybe you shouldn't have had kids." That last message triggered audible sounds of disgust from the courtroom audience. Judge Judy let the silence linger before speaking. "Ms. Black, these don't look edited to me. They look like the words of someone who enjoyed having power over another person. They look like the words of a bully who never expected to face consequences." Karen's complexion drained from flushed to pale as she watched her own words condemn her on a screen 15 feet tall. Smash that like button right now if you're enjoying watching technology. Expose this lying Karen.com at receipts if you believe every narcissist needs a phone reveal moment like this. The next part is even more satisfying, when Judge Judy plays the voicemails that will make you absolutely furious over what Jennifer was forced to endure. But the text messages were only the beginning. Judge Judy was far from finished destroying Karen's credibility. "Your Honor," Jennifer said, her voice growing stronger with each passing moment of vindication, I also have 47 voicemails Ms. Black left me over an 8-month period. Would you like me to play some of them? Karen's eyes widened with panic. Your Honor, voicemails can be taken out of context. They can be edited. Judge Judy cut her off with a look that could have frozen fire. Ms. Black, unless you're about to tell me, someone created a deepfake of your voice, which would require technology far beyond. Ms. Hayes's resources I suggest you sit quietly and listen. To your own words, she turned to Jennifer. Play the first voicemail, Ms. Hayes. Jennifer tapped her phone. And suddenly, Karen's voice filled the courtroom, dripping with venom and cruelty that no excuse could explain away. Jennifer, you pathetic little nobody. I saw you tried to talk to the accountant about the missing money. Big mistake. Huge mistake. I'm going to destroy you for this. I'll tell everyone in this town that you're a thief. I'll make sure you can't get a job anywhere. Your kids will be so embarrassed to have you as a mother that they'll change their last names. The voice was unmistakably Karen's, and its cruelty made several audience members physically recoil. Karen had gone completely white, her hands gripping the edge of the table as if it were the only thing keeping her upright. That was the moment her world truly began to collapse. The second voicemail was somehow even worse than the first. Karen's voice came through the courtroom speakers, cold and calculating, stripped of any pretense of emotion or justification. Jennifer, I'm taking another $8,000 tomorrow. I've already forged your signature on the withdrawal form. If you report this to anyone, I'll say you authorized it and then changed your mind to make me look bad. No one will believe you over me. I'm the successful one. You're just the help. Think about your kids before you do something stupid. The threat was unmistakable. The admission of forgery was undeniable. The contempt for Jennifer was chilling. Karen slumped forward in her chair, her perfectly styled hair falling across. Her face as she tried to hide from the cameras that had been her allies just minutes earlier. All of her confidence had evaporated, replaced by the terrifying realization that every lie she had told was being systematically dismantled by technology that didn't care about her charisma or presentation. Judge Judy let the voicemail echo in the silence before speaking, her voice carrying absolute authority. Ms. Black, you just heard yourself admit to forgery and theft. You threatened a woman's children. You called her pathetic and said no one would believe her. Ms. Hayes, what else do you have on that phone? Jennifer's voice was steady now, growing stronger with every moment of vindication. Your Honor, I have GPS data that proves Ms. Black lied about where she was on multiple occasions. She claimed business trips that never happened while charging expenses to our company credit card. I have my phone's location history showing exactly where I was. And I have her social media posts that contradict every statement she made in her opening. Judge Judy nodded slowly, that familiar predator smile returning. Show me the GPS evidence. Jennifer opened a mapping application displaying her location history over the past year. On March 15th, Karen claimed she was in Chicago attending a business conference and charged $2,200 to the company credit card for travel and lodging. But the GPS data showed the phone one Karen had borrowed that day, claiming her own was broken, never left their home state. Instead, it spent 6 hours at an address that turned out to be a luxury day spa. The credit card charges matched perfectly. Massage, facial, full-body treatment, all billed as business expenses, while Karen claimed she was networking with potential clients in Chicago. Judge Judy's expression darkened at the sheer audacity of the fraud. And the pattern repeated month after month. A supposed business trip to Dallas. GPS showed the phone at a country club. A meeting in Boston. GPS showed the phone inside a shopping mall for 7 consecutive hours. Every claimed business expense was actually Karen. indulging herself while stealing from the partnership and lying about where the money was going. But Judge Judy still wasn't finished. "Ms. Hayes, you mentioned banking application screenshots. Show me those now." Jennifer pulled up her banking app history, and the courtroom monitor displayed a devastating timeline of unauthorized withdrawals. Karen's name appeared again and again, always in amounts just under $10,000 to avoid triggering fraud alerts. $3,000 here, $5,000 there, $8,000 on another date. The timestamps matched perfectly with the threatening text messages and voicemails. On the same day, Karen sent a message claiming she was taking $5,000 for marketing expenses. The bank records showed a withdrawal of that exact amount deposited directly into Karen's personal account, not spent on any business purpose. The evidence was overwhelming, irrefutable, and utterly devastating to every claim Karen had made. Karen Black's breakdown was complete. The woman who had strutted into the courtroom like a conquering hero was now sobbing uncontrollably, mascara streaking down her face, her designer clothes wrinkled as she hunched over in her chair. "Please, Your Honor, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to call her a liar. I was confused. I was scared. Can we just settle this? Please, don't make this public. My clients will see this. My reputation will be destroyed. Please, I'll pay everything back." The desperation in her voice was unmistakable. The begging was painful to witness. But Judge Judy showed no sympathy. "Your reputation, Ms. Black, was destroyed the moment you underestimated the power of digital evidence and called a truthful witness a liar in my courtroom. You believed Jennifer Hayes was too unsophisticated to document your abuse. You thought your confidence would override her facts. You were catastrophically wrong." Judge Judy's verdict was swift and merciless. "Ms. Black, I find your behavior to be among the most arrogant and offensive I have witnessed in my 25 years on this bench. You didn't just steal money from your business partner. You gaslit her, threatened her children, destroyed her reputation, and then had the audacity to come into my courtroom and call her a liar when she had documented proof of everything you did. Therefore, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $34,000 in stolen funds, plus $8,000 in court costs and legal fees, plus $12,000 in damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Total judgment, $54,000. Furthermore, I am forwarding copies of this evidence to the District Attorney's Office for potential criminal prosecution for embezzlement, fraud, and making criminal threats. Your voicemails constitute harassment and witness intimidation. This entire proceeding is a matter of public record and will be available for anyone to view, including every client, colleague, and acquaintance you have. Ms. Hayes, you are completely vindicated. Ms. Black, you are dismissed from my courtroom in disgrace." The gavel came down with the finality of a death sentence, and Karen Black's reign of terror was officially over. Within 1 hour of the episode airing, the clip exploded across every major social media platform. The moment Karen confidently called Jennifer a liar, immediately followed by her own voice on the voicemails, destroying her credibility, became the most shared courtroom moment of the entire year. The hashtag phone receipts began trending on Twitter within 30 minutes, with millions of people sharing their own stories of being gaslit by confident liars. TikTok creators posted reaction videos that racked up millions of views, with the most popular clips showing split screen comparisons of Karen's smug confidence at the beginning and her sobbing breakdown at the end. Instagram was flooded with screenshots of the text messages displayed on the courtroom monitor, paired with captions like "This is why you document everything and technology doesn't lie, even when Karens do." Within 24 hours, the combined view count across all platforms had surpassed 40 million and showed no signs of slowing down. Karen Black had achieved the fame she wanted, not in the way she had imagined. The real-world consequences for Karen were swift and merciless. 3 major business clients terminated their contracts within 48 hours of the episode airing. 2 of them specifically citing the courtroom footage as evidence of fraudulent business practices and moral conduct, incompatible with their company values. Her business partner, who had somehow remained unaware of Karen's true nature, until millions watched her admit to forgery and theft on national television, announced the immediate dissolution of their professional relationship and launched his own lawsuit to recover funds he now suspected Karen had stolen from him as well. Karen's LinkedIn profile, carefully curated to portray her as a successful entrepreneur and business consultant, was flooded with comments from viewers of the Judge Judy episode. Former clients and colleagues came forward with their own stories of Karen's unethical behavior, triggering an avalanche of revelations that painted a clear picture of someone who had been manipulating and stealing from people for years. The local Chamber of Commerce asked her to resign from the board. Her neighborhood HOA, where she had served as treasurer, immediately launched a financial audit and uncovered irregularities that led to additional civil complaints. Karen Black's carefully constructed professional life collapsed in less than a week. But the most profound impact of the case wasn't about Karen's downfall. It was about Jennifer's vindication and the message it sent to millions of people who had been gaslit, manipulated, and told no one would ever believe them. Jennifer Hayes became an unlikely hero to victims of workplace harassment and emotional abuse everywhere. She received thousands of messages from people thanking her for proving that documentation matters, that keeping receipts isn't paranoia, and that technology can be the great equalizer when facing someone with more confidence, more money, and more social power. Jennifer used her moment in the spotlight to advocate for other victims, appearing on podcasts and writing articles about the importance of trusting your instincts and preserving evidence when something feels wrong. She started a consulting business to help people navigate toxic business partnerships and teach them how to protect themselves legally and financially. The $34,000 she received from the judgment allowed her to pay off the debts Karen's theft had created, and the additional damages gave her the seed money to build something far better than she had ever imagined possible with Karen. The case also sparked broader conversations about gaslighting, digital evidence, and the power dynamics that allow abusers to thrive. Legal experts began using the footage in training seminars to emphasize the importance of documentary evidence in he said, she said disputes. Domestic violence advocates pointed to Jennifer's methodical documentation as a model for victims trying to escape abusive situations where the abuser's word often carries more weight. Technology companies highlighted the case as an example of how smartphones have become powerful tools for justice and accountability. HR departments across the country updated their workplace harassment policies, specifically referencing the Judge Judy case as a turning point in how seriously complaints supported by digital evidence were taken. The phrase "keep your receipts" became more than a catchy internet saying. It became practical advice capable of changing lives and delivering justice to people who had been told they were crazy, oversensitive, or lying about their own experiences. The moral of this story is clear and more relevant than ever. In the digital age, the truth doesn't disappear just because someone lies louder. Karen Black learned that lesson the hardest way possible. Confidence is not credibility. Volume cannot overcome evidence. And underestimating someone because they seem less powerful or sophisticated is a catastrophic mistake. Jennifer's phone became her defender, her witness, and ultimately her path to justice. Every threatening text message, every abusive voicemail, and every GPS coordinate told the real story. All of it was preserved in digital perfection, waiting for the moment when lies would be confronted with facts that couldn't be dismissed or explained away. If you're facing someone who is gaslighting you, document everything. If someone is abusing their power over you, keep receipts. Your phone remembers what they want you to forget. And somewhere there is a courtroom where the truth will finally be heard. If this story of digital justice restored your faith, that truth always wins. Smash that like button. Drop a comment sharing a time someone tried to gaslight. You did, you have receipts. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear that documenting abuse isn't paranoid, it's smart. Make sure you hit subscribe, because we're bringing you more stories where technology becomes the ultimate truth teller, and Karens learn that in the digital age. Lies have timestamps. Remember, keep your receipts, keep your dignity, and never let anyone make you doubt your own reality when you have the evidence to prove it. Justice served, one phone reveal at a time.